Today, we're diving into a common problem faced by Flask developers: SQL Insert queries that just won't work. Let's troubleshoot this together. There are several reasons why your insert query might be failing within your Flask application, and we'll cover the most common ones. 1. Incorrect SQL syntax. This is the most basic, yet often overlooked issue. Even a tiny mistake in your SQL statement can prevent the query from executing. Double-check for typos, correct capitalization. Some databases are case-sensitive, and ensure that your column names and data types match your database schema. For example, missing a comma, incorrect quoting of strings, or using the wrong data type, like trying to insert a string into an integer column, will all cause errors. Remember that SQL is strictly typed. Mismatched types frequently lead to problems. Always verify your SQL statement independently, perhaps using a database client like pgadmin or dbeaver, before incorporating it into your Flask code. 2. Database connection issues. Your Flask application needs a properly established connection to your database. Check your database credentials: username, password, host, database name, port, to ensure they are correct and that the database is running and accessible. Network problems or incorrect firewall configurations could also prevent the connection from being established. Test your database connections separately outside of your Flask application before attempting any database operations. This isolates problems relating to the connection, apart from potential issues in your Flask code. 3. Parameterization and SQL injection. Never directly embed user input into your SQL queries. This is a major security risk, leaving you vulnerable to SQL injection attacks. Always use parameterized queries or prepared statements. In Python with your database library, like psychopg2 for PostgreSQL or MySQLDB for MySQL, you should use placeholders, %s in psychopg2, and pass your variables as a separate tuple or list to prevent this. Failure to use parameterized queries opens your database to potentially destructive attacks. 4. Data type mismatches. Ensure that the data you're trying to insert matches the data type of the corresponding column in your database table. For example, if a column expects an integer, don't try to insert a string. Implicit type conversion might sometimes work, but relying on it is risky and can lead to unexpected behavior or errors. Explicitly convert your data to the correct type before executing the insert statement. This is particularly important when dealing with dates and times. Ensure they are in the format expected by your database. 5. Error handling. Your Flask application needs robust error handling. Wrap your database interactions in try, except blocks to catch exceptions. Print informative error messages to your logs, not directly to the user, to help you identify the exact nature of the problem. A generic database error message isn't particularly helpful in debugging. The specific error message from your database library will frequently contain very valuable information for pinpointing and resolving the issue. 6. Transaction management. If your insertion is part of a larger transaction, for instance, multiple inserts or a combination of insert and update, ensure that the transaction is properly committed. A rollback may be required if any part of the transaction fails. Consider wrapping your operations within a database transaction to ensure atomicity, meaning either all the operations succeed or none do. By carefully addressing these points, you should be able to diagnose and solve most insert query problems in your Flask application. Remember, good error handling and parameterized queries are crucial for both security and maintainability.